Welcome to Dr. Mary Travelbest's 5 Steps to Solo Travel Guide for women like you who need a little extra support traveling the world, one woman at a time. I've been traveling solo since 1972. Now you can read the latest in the best-selling book series, 5 Steps to Solo Travel, Part B, A Woman's Guide to Destinations in Her Prime, found on Amazon. I would value your help here. Please share this podcast with future travelers like you so you can make their trips the very best, like Travelbest. Then rate and review it so others can find it and help bring a little bit more peace to the world, one person at a time. In this episode, the FAQ is, should I bring a cell phone when I travel? The destination is Hong Kong. Today's mistake? Losing my cell phone in Mexico City. Travel advice? Try Reddit for some travel advice channels. Yes, listen to the end to hear about the Reddit feed called Solo Travel. And now the FAQ. Should I bring a cell phone when I travel? The answer? Yes, at least one. Ask your carrier if they have service in the countries where you're traveling. And if so, what are the fees, if any? Ask about special travel plans if they offer them. You can get a second service and buy a cheap phone when you get abroad. Wi-Fi you're going to get in most hotels, but it's not always a guarantee. If you have a hotspot, maybe you can use that when you travel. Also, consider using a VPN for more privacy. It's better than not having one. VPN is Virtual Private Network. I had 2 cell phones the last time I was in Mexico City, but I lost the extra one. I'll tell you that story later in the lessons learned. And now for today's destination, Hong Kong. What's there to do in Hong Kong solo? It's ideal for your first step 5 trip because you can absorb as much culture as you like, still being in what was a British colony for a long time. They have traditions like high tea here, which you may like. On my first trip here, I did not have any reservations back in the pre-cell phone days. That was adventurous, admittedly. What was the worst part of the trip? Probably a bad haircut, but that's okay because hair grows back. The other downside was that I booked a cheap flat for a few days, and as I recall, in January, neither the heat nor the hot water was working. You'll make memories when you visit Hong Kong. You will have your senses on high alert. There is a culture shock, and you will get over that in a few days. You'll feel more comfortable the more time you spend here. You can get by pretty well with your English, and it's a finance center of the region. Notice there are a lot of banks in Hong Kong, and shopping is especially good. Many people make their own fashion here, such as a custom-tailored suit. I didn't do that. Some of the best restaurants are here, all kinds, not just Chinese food. And the hotels are amazing. I had high tea at the Peninsula Hotel and loved that. I went to the parks, took long walks, explored universities, took the ferries around the harbor all day long. Sometimes I just went and found a new adventure. The ferry is the best entertainment in the city. You can go back and forth from Hong Kong Island to Kowloon and see the world unfold back and forth. Those harbor cruises solo provided me with the most slice of life experiences and the chance to meet and connect with locals. You can also explore another island, Lantau Island. You will discover a cable car up in the sky that will amaze you. It takes up to 3,500 people per hour for the capacity with 100 cabins. And now for today's mistake, losing my cell phone in Mexico City. I'm glad you held on to here. Stick around. I want to talk about a backup cell phone that I had just for emergencies. So I was in a dressing room at a store trying on clothes in Mexico City, and I took a minute to send a text. I was using the new phone. However, I did not have them connected, So I had to look up the contact information on one phone and use it on the second one. Well, this got complicated, and eventually I lost the new phone in the dressing room. I went back and it was not found. I contacted the store manager and no one turned it in. Today's travel advice is get good travel advice from others on social media, like Twitter and Reddit. I've got an active Twitter feed in case you haven't been there. My sign is @Dr. Travelbest. Are you following me? Here's another example. Reddit.com/solo travel has a lot of good Q&A on it about solo travel. I see a lot of questions and answers about things that can be helpful, like SIM cards in Europe and what the costs might be in euros for 50 gigabytes of data. You might even see a recommendation for a service like Vodafone. So you can get educated here and join me. Discussions on Reddit are public. It's not owned by me. You just see good posts and skip those garbage posts. No one uses real names, so it's free flow. It's like an anonymous social media. It has different priorities than on Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube. So let me know if you like this platform. I'm seeing it popular with a lot of millennials. So I'd like to bring meaning to your travel. Send a question or a travel tip for me. We can connect on my Facebook page, group, or Instagram. And I mentioned Twitter. You can also find 5 Steps to Solo Travel. It's a book series on Amazon.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.